Today, I am going to discuss about remote sensing and its applications. What is a remote sensing? Remote sensing is the science and art of acquiring information, which means gathering of information about an object or an area or a phenomena of the earth's surface without coming into direct physical contact. For example, when we are watching TV, we want to change our required channel, which means from a serial to the sports channel. Without coming into the direct physical contact, that channel can be viewed with the help of our remote. Same principles has to be seen in this case also. Here there are 7 stages of a remote sensing process can be seen. Number 1, energy resource. The first one is energy. What kind of energy is required here? The sun energy is required here, which means for the illumination. The second one is the propagation of energy. Propagation of the energy through the atmosphere. The third one, interaction with the target. Fourth one, recording of the energy by the sensor. Fifth one, transmission reception and processing. Sixth one, interpretation and analysis. The seventh one is applications. The first one is sun energy. The second one is propagation of the energy through the atmosphere. The first one is energy source. The first requirement is an energy source which provides electromagnetic energy to the target of interest. The second one is propagation of energy through the atmosphere. The energy which provides from the sun has to be transmitted through the atmosphere. When the energy travels from its source to the target, it passes through the atmosphere. This interaction may take place a second time as the energy travels from the target to the sensor. The third one is interaction with the target. Whether the target may be an object or an area or a phenomena. Here I am going to write a tree. This is the target of interest. This one is number 3. This one is number 2. This one is number 1. Here, this is the atmosphere. The first one is sun energy. The second one is propagation of energy through the atmosphere. The third one is interaction with the target. The fourth one is the recording of energy by the sensor. A sensor is required to collect and record the electromagnetic radiation which will be emitted from the target. The energy, when it interacts to the target, again it travels through the atmosphere towards the sensor. Here, the first time the energy travels from its source to the target, again from the target to the sensor. The fifth one is, this one is the fourth one, transmission, reception and processing. The first one is the sun energy, the second one is atmosphere, the third one is target, the fourth one is recording of energy by the sensor, the fifth one is transmission, reception and processing unit, the sixth one is interpretation and analysis. In this unit, in the fifth unit, transmission, reception and processing unit, the energy recorded by the sensor has to be transmitted to a receiving and processing station in the form of electronic, where the data are processed into an image. The sixth one is interpretation and analysis. The processed image is interpreted visually or digitally or electronically to extract information about the target. This one is sixth one. The seventh one is applications. The final element of the remote sensing process is achieved by extracting the required information from the image about the target. Next, what kind of applications can be done with the help of remote sensing data? Number 1, identification of minerals, identification of rocks, rock types, what kinds of rocks, bedrocks, which means for the construction of engineering structures, what kind of bedrocks are required, what kind of structures can be seen within that particular rocks, what kinds of soil characteristics, everything can be done using remote sensing data, which means without going to that particular site, with the help of this remote sensing data, the type of rock, the type of bedrock, the characteristics of soil, type of mineralogical constituents, which means what kinds of minerals, everything can be identified with the help of remote sensing data. The second point is to assess suitability of various sites for the construction of dams, whether it may be small dam or big dam, whatever the sizes of dam, what kind of bedrock is suitable. If we are going to construct a dam, does it possible to withstand that overburden material on that particular terrain? That can be identified with the help of remote sensing data. What kind of reservoirs? When the reservoirs are filled with water body, does it possible to withstand the entire reservoir? Or whatever the bridge, when we are going to construct on a particular terrain, does it possible to withstand that overburden material, or pipelines, or roads? For the construction of roads, whether it is suitable or not, that can be done using remote sensing data. Remote sensing data can be used for the assessment of various components of hydrologic cycle. Remote sensing data is also used for mapping of landslide prone areas. Before occurring of landslides, whether the area undergoes landslide or not, if that area is subjected to further movements, which means faults, that can also be identified with the help of remote sensing data. Weathered horizons are massive rocks that can be identified with the help of remote sensing data. Monitoring of various volcanic activities can be done with the help of remote sensing data. Remote sensing data can also be used to study snow hydrology, river morphology, depth of a river, flood estimation, water quality, etc. For example, if you are going to study how much of water has been stored in Mettur Dam, without visiting that Mettur Dam, how much of water has been stored in that Mettur Dam can be assessed with the help of remote sensing data. Remote sensing data can be used to study coastal geomorphology, coastal deposits, coastal erosion, marine pollution, man-made change detection, sedimentation pattern, etc. Remote sensing data provides information on the distribution of various earth resources such as soil, water, vegetation, human settlement, etc. Forest cover estimation, estimation of biomass, forest mapping, identifying of forest blank areas, forest type, what kind of forest it is, and what kind of density whether the forest is thick forest or thin forest, how the density, even how much of area has been destroyed by forest fire, how much of area has to be planted, can be identified with the help of remote sensing data. Remote sensing data can also be used for crop condition assessment. For example, in Tamil Nadu, they have sumptuous amount of water in their Mettur dam. But already the plants, which means the paddy field, has been harvested. When they are going to demand the water to release from the Karnataka, that can be assessed with the help of this remote sensing data. Whether the water is sufficient in that reservoir to grow the remaining crops, or if the crops have been harvested, how much of water is required to grow the remaining crops, everything can be assessed with the help of remote sensing data. Remote sensing data can be used as mapping tool to classify soil characteristics, crop type, crop condition assessment, whether the crops have been destroyed due to wind actions or whatever the diseases, or what kind of actual crop condition has to be assessed with the help of remote sensing data. This tool can be used in recent days in different manner, in different methods. Wherever we go, the usage of remote sensing data can be seen. How much of area has been, for example, in Mysore city, in total area, to identify how much of area has been built only for human settlement, that can be assessed with the help of remote sensing data. How much of area has not been utilized for the construction, even though the site has been allotted, that has been identified within this remote sensing data. Let us move on to geographic information system. GIS. The word geographic deals with features which can be referenced to a specific location on the Earth's surface. A geographic information system is a computer-based tool for mapping, collecting, storing, retrieving, transforming, manipulating, analyzing, and displaying spatial and non-spatial data in an efficient manner, which means systematic manner. Here we are going to use the terminology encode. What is encode? To put a message into a coded form is called by the name encoding. A geographic information system is a computer-based tool for mapping, collecting, storing, retrieving, encoding, transforming, manipulating, analyzing, displaying spatial or non-spatial data. Here, encoding means to put a message into coded form. What is manipulating? The data has to be dealt skillfully. Then it is called by the name manipulating. Retrieving. The data has to be repaired again. That has to be called by the name retrieving. What is spatial and non-spatial data? Here, the spatial data and non-spatial data. What is a spatial data? It represents a geographical space. What is non-spatial data? Non-spatial data is linked to GIS. For example, a person's height, mass, age are not spatial data because they are the independent person's location. When we come to spatial data, they are characterized by the points, lines and polygons. Spatial data requires a geographical space, that's why it is called by the name spatial data. Geographic information system have 4 important components. They are: number 1, hardware; number 2, software; number 3, data; number 4, people. What is hardware? Hardware components of GIS. Number 1, hardware components of GIS. It is the computer system on which a GIS operates. CPU. For the computer, we required CPU. It is linked to disk drive, which provides space for storing data and programs. Again, digitizer. It is a device used to convert data from maps and documents into digital form, which means raster to vector system. The next one is a raster data into the vector data. The next one is plotter. Plotter is used to present the results of the data processing on a paper. Next one is tape drive under the hardware system. It is used to store data for communicating with other systems. Even visual display unit, which is also called by the name VDU. It is used to control the computer and the other peripherals. VDU is used to control the computer and other peripherals. The second one is software component. Set of applications under which basic GIS software, ArcInfo, ArcView, AutoCAD, MapInfo, under which various kinds of softwares can be seen: data input, data storage, data output, data transformation, and interaction with the user. The next one is data. Here, spatial data and non-spatial data, which means attribute data. Non-spatial data is also called by the name attribute data. The last one is people. The real power of a GIS comes from people. Here, without people, we cannot do anything, particularly in GIS, particularly the skilled people. The next one is applications of GIS. GIS tool can be used to digitization of maps on various scales. The second point is an engineering geologist can evaluate slope stability conditions through geographic information system. GIS can also be used in imagination and canal developments. GIS gives solutions for management of natural resources, forestry, wildlife management, etc. GIS tool can also be used to study environmental applications. GIS tool can be used to study environmental applications like land cover, land use analysis, soil erosion, soil conservation, etc. GIS tool can also be used to yield prediction, crop monitoring, pest disease tracking, etc. Natural hazardous mapping can also be done with the help of geographic information system. Environmental impact assessment, mineral exploration can also be done with the help of GIS. The next topic is GPS. What is GPS? The term GPS stands for Global Positioning System. Global Positioning System, which means GPS, is a satellite based navigation system and it consists of 24 satellites which are placed in 6 orbital planes. Which means in each orbital planes we are going to find 4 satellites. Each satellite circles the earth twice per day. The operational global positioning system, which means a GPS satellite, has a design life of 7.5 years. How much? 7.5 years. They are continuously monitored by ground stations located worldwide. GPS works in any weather conditions anywhere in the world, 24 hours a day. There is no subscription fees to use GPS. The first GPS satellite was launched in 1978. The launch of 24 satellites were completed in 1994. The GPS is made up of 3 important components. They are space components, the control component, and user component. The first one is space component. Second one is control component. Third one is user component. What is space component? The space component is made up of GPS satellites orbiting the Earth. Each satellite contains a radio, a computer, and a clock. As a satellite moves, it broadcasts its changing position and time. That control component, it is operated by the US military It includes on master control station 12 command and control antennas and 16 monitoring sites. The next one is user component. User component is the GPS unit which receives the radio signals from the GPS satellites. A GPS unit has a computer that determines its geographic position, which means longitude and latitude from at least 3 satellites. The next one is applications of GPS. GPS provides positional information, which means latitude, longitude and altitude in degrees, minutes and seconds. The GPS is used to determine the positions either moving or stationary objects. The GPS receiver can also accurately provide speed and direction of travel, referred as ground speed and ground track. The GPS is very useful in the field of modern surveying, navigation and mapping. GPS is used for aircraft tracking and navigation. GPS is also used for navigation in ships. Geologists use GPS for locating oneself in any unknown terrain, also to map the path. GPS can be used to prepare contour maps, longitudinal section of roads, alignment of roads, bridges, etc.